Hi everyone, my name is Suzanne and I'm a Chinese metaphysics master in Hong Kong. Today we're going to take another look at purple star astrology, and specifically we are going to look at some of the stars that can appear in your natal chart and what they generally mean. I can only give you a general meaning because depending on what formation they appear with or which enhancers they appear with, the meaning slightly changes, and that depends on each person's individual chart. So all I can give you is a general understanding of the stars, but even with that, you will already be able to see quite a lot in your own natal chart. Now, today is just the first installment of this particular series. So we are looking specifically into two stars today. That is the Ziwei star, also called the Emperor star. It is the star that gets its name from purple star astrology. Because purple star astrology is Ziwei Doushu, and we're looking at the Ziwei star. And the second star we're going to look at today is the Taiyang star. Taiyang star is the sun. Yeah, Taiyang and Ziwei, these two stars are what we're going to look at today. So first things first, of course, you need to plot your Ziwei natal chart. Go to this link here. I'll also post it in the description to the video, and then just plot your chart, and you need to select the flying star chart method. Now, it is very important that you do indicate your time of birth. Without time of birth, you cannot plot this chart. You may still get a chart, but it's the wrong one. So you have to have your time of birth. And then once you have this, you will get a chart that looks like this. Now, it consists of 12 palaces. And everyone has the same palaces, but the distribution may look very, very differently for different people. So here, for example, the life palace is here. For you, it may be completely somewhere else in the chart. Yeah, that's perfectly fine, but everybody has a life palace. Doesn't matter where it appears, but everyone has one. Everyone has a siblings palace. They just may appear in a different area of your chart, not like this one here, right? So just keep that in mind, but everyone has these same palaces: life, siblings, spouse, children, wealth, health, travel, friends, career, property, mental, and parents' palace. All right. Now, the stars that we're looking at today, or that we're interpreting today, as I mentioned, are the Ziwei star and the Taiyang star. Ziwei star is called, in English, it's called the Emperor. And in this particular chart, we have it in the property palace. Yeah, so just check where you have it in your chart. Where does it appear in your particular chart? Here, it appears in the property palace. In your chart, it could be anywhere else. Yeah, so just take a look. Now, again, I'm just going to give you keywords for this Ziwei star in each individual palace. How it is specifically interpreted for you could slightly change due to the composition of the palace, or maybe you have an arrow there or some sort of other indicators or different formations, but the overall general characteristics of this star doesn't change. All right. So let's say you have this star in your life palace. Yeah, if the Ziwei appears in your life palace, then you tend to be someone who's quite ambitious, sort of independent, ambitious. You have high goals and high expectations for yourself. You also tend to be quite sophisticated, or at least you like to see yourself as a sophisticated person. Very classy. Yeah, generally speaking, very classy. On the downside, you may also be a little bit bossy and impatient. You kind of expect others to live up to the expectations that you set for yourself, but obviously, as we all know, that's not always possible. So that can make you a little bit bossy, a little bit impatient. And the way people, because it is the Emperor star, yeah, they tend to be a little bit more materialistic than others, yeah. It doesn't mean that you are a bad person, but every now and then, you know, that materialistic streak comes up in your life. But again, everything has good and bad. All right. So this is if you have the Ziwei star in your life palace. Now, if you have the Ziwei star in the siblings palace, so let's say if it were here in the siblings palace, then you tend to be a little bit aloof when it comes to your interactions with your siblings or your mother in particular. Or maybe, so there's just the affinity is not that great. Doesn't mean that you don't get along with them or that you have constant arguments. It's not that. It's just like there's not as strong a bond as maybe for other people. Yeah, because either you or your siblings or your mom are just too independent and too ambitious to really be all that worried about your family. Yeah. So again, this is not a value judgment. This is just the way it is. But you can obviously change all of this. Yeah, with awareness comes change. So this is just the default. And then again, it also depends on what else appears in this particular palace. Now, if it appears in the spouse palace, then it would be a better choice to marry later, a little bit later in life. Yeah, what does that mean later? I would say 40 onwards. Yeah, from 40 onwards, you probably have better spouse luck. Yeah, better luck with marriage. Marriage may be smoother for you if you marry a little bit later in life. Yeah. Now, if it happens, if the Ziwei appears in the children palace, if you do have children, these are children, the children may be very, very independent, even at a very young age. They have a very strong character and they can be quite demanding from a young age. Yeah, they not in the sense of high maintenance, but they have a very strong opinion on things from a very, very young age, and they know what they want, they know what they like, they know what they don't like, and they make themselves heard. Now, if the Ziwei star appears in the wealth palace, usually it indicates a fairly good wealth luck, better than average wealth luck, I would say. But again, it depends on each individual chart, how that is actually manifesting in your life. It may be in early age and maybe later in life. Then also, depending on the enhancers that we have there, this all then paints a better picture, more detailed picture. But overall, if your Ziwei star is in the wealth palace, your wealth luck tends to be better, much, much better than average. And it's up to you then actually to make something of that. So if you see Ziwei in the wealth palace, it's important that you learn financial management. Otherwise, even great wealth will not help you. If you have zero financial management skills, you may just make a lot of money and then lose a lot of money. And that's obviously not what we want. Yeah. So generally, your wealth luck is good, but you need to make sure that you are financially literate and that you have very, very good financial management skills. Now, if it appears in the health palace, so if Ziwei is in the health palace, usually the Ziwei star can cause stomach issues, abdominal issues, or maybe constipation. Yeah, not anything all that serious. Again, how it manifests, when in life it manifests, depends on the overall outlook of the chart. But these are sort of like the inherent issues that you may want to look at, especially if you're generally healthy and you want to make sure that you remain healthy, then these are the areas to focus on. Now, if the Ziwei star appears in a travel palace, generally speaking, whenever you travel, you have a lot of nobleman luck. So it means that you meet a lot of helpful people outside your house. So whenever you travel, and travel doesn't just mean that you go abroad, you go to a different country. It could mean you just travel by car to the next city over, or even within your city. As long as you're outside your home, this is considered travel from a Ziwei perspective. And whenever, the more often you leave the house, the more really, really helpful people and supportive people you find in life. Yeah. So this is very, very good, especially obviously if you do travel long distance and, every now and then we run into problems like lost luggage or, flight delayed or whatever. But there's then always someone who helps you out and makes this better. Yeah, so this is very, very nice. Now, if you have the Ziwei star in the Friends Palace, you tend to have a lot of friends that are in a higher position than you. Either they have a higher status, or they have maybe a better career, or they are wealthier than you are, or they're more senior than you are. Something about them is better than you. Yeah, it's nothing bad. In fact, these friends then lift you up and help you to their own level. Yeah, so having this in the Friends Palace is quite positive, because you can always rely on friends who can help you out financially or help you out in other ways to lift you up in society, lift you up in life, lift you up in career. Yeah, so very good to have. If you have the Ziwei star in the Career Palace, then this indicates that you are someone who actually has great leadership skills. Obviously, you're not born with great leadership skills. There's still something that you need to learn, but you make a great leader. You make a great manager, and you tend to have a very, very good reputation within your industry, within your career, within your company or your workplace. Yeah. So it's very, very important that you always develop yourself professionally and make sure that you don't stagnate. Yeah? Now, if it's in a property palace, like in this case here, it indicates that this person has the potential to own more than just one property. Yeah, more than just one houses, more than just one flats. There is the potential there. When that happens, for that, we would have to do a deep dive into the actual chart. But the potential is there, and if you work towards that, you can definitely achieve it. If the Ziwei star appears in the mental palace, sometimes it's also called the happiness palace. It means that you tend to feel a little bit lonely emotionally. Yeah, you're easily lonely. The Ziwei star is an emperor star, and the emperor needs supporters. Yeah, otherwise, who are you going to govern? But at the same time, you're quite lonely there at the top. And so this, having it in the mental palace, means that you tend to have phases in life where you feel like nobody understands you, you're all alone, and if you don't catch yourself, this could actually turn into some sort of depressive thought or depressive condition. So you have to make sure that you keep your mind positive. It's not a lifelong thing. At times this will be stronger than at others. Yeah, so it's not something you need to worry about too much. Just make sure that you surround yourself with supportive people. And then lastly, if the Ziwei star appears in the parents' palace, then it's very likely that you have a father who is fairly dominant, not in an aggressive way, yeah, but dominant. He has a very strong character, very strong opinions, and you're influenced quite strongly by your father and his expectations. All right. So this is just, again, keywords for the Ziwei star, depending on which palace it falls into. Obviously, there's much, much more to it if we take the formations into account and whether it's tends to do more negative or the more positive, but the keywords will remain, so you can take that with it. Now, the next star we look at is the Taiyang star. The Taiyang star is the sun star. Yeah, we call it the sun. Now here, in this particular case, you see it in the life palace. Now have a look where it appears for you. Again, it can appear in any palace. It can even appear together with the Ziwei star. That's also possible, yeah? So just have a look at where it appears. If, like in this case, it's in the life palace, generally you're looking at a person who's very helpful. They're very responsible. They're very warm people, very kind, very generous, like the sun. Yeah, the sun is always there. We can depend on it. The sun nourishes and gives us life. So these people are very, very nice. They're very likable. Now, the weakness could be that they're a little bit too idealistic, maybe too honest. Yeah, they carry their heart on their sleeves, and that can get them in trouble. And they have to make sure that they're not being taken advantage of. But overall, very, very nice personality. If the Taiyang star appears in the siblings palace, then there's usually very, very good affinity with the siblings or with the mom. You get along quite well, you help each other out. If it appears in the spouse palace, Taiyang in the spouse palace, again, marrying a little bit later is better in life because, you know, Taiyang basically shines the light on everyone. So at an early age, there may be too many options. So wait until you found the right one. And then later in life, again, around 40. Now, also it could mean that your spouse is that kind of, has that kind of Taiyang personality. Yeah, very kind, very generous, very nurturing. Now, your children, if it's in the children palace, Taiyang in the children palace, because the Taiyang, the sun, is associated with male energy, it could be that you have more male children than female children. Now, back in the old days, that was very, very desirable because female children didn't even count as children, unfortunately, but that's just what it was like back in the days. Nowadays, it doesn't really matter. So it could be more sons than daughters, or it could be that you have daughters or a daughter who is very, very alpha, maybe a little bit of a tomboy, someone who is just as independent or just as tough as a son would be. Now, if you have the Taiyang in the wealth palace, and ideally you're born during daytime, so let's say you're born between 5 a.m. and 5 p.m., then you have really, really excellent wealth luck because the sun is shining on your wealth capacity, on your wealth palace. If you're born during daytime, still good wealth capacity, but slightly less than as if you are born at night. Yeah, but generally speaking, good money luck throughout life. It may spike every now and then, depending on the sort of decade luck or the luck cycle you're going through, but overall quite good. Now, if it appears in a health palace, you may have to pay extra attention to your eyesight, to your heart health, and also your brain health. These are the areas that, if at all, if you suffer from any sort of health problems, are the ones that are more prone to illness. Again, it doesn't have to be anything serious. Yeah, maybe you just have a little bit of a high blood pressure, or you may need glasses. Yeah, that can be all, but these are the areas of your health that you may want to pay more attention to throughout life. Now, if you have the Taiyang star in the travel palace, again, you are likely to meet with a lot of help, with a lot of generous people when you are traveling. Usually you are surrounded by people who are very kind, very warm. You feel welcome wherever you go. Yeah, this is again a very, very nice star to have in the Friends Palace. If you have Taiyang in the Friends Palace, you tend to be someone who's very proactive in making friends. Yeah, very outgoing, and sort of like indiscriminate. Yeah, you want to make friends with anybody, regardless of where they come from, what their social status is, what their background is. Very, very open-minded and proactive in making friends. If you have the Taiyang star in the career palace, then a competitive work environment is actually quite good for you. Yeah, because it brings out the best in you. So the more competitive the work environment is, the more competitive the industry is that you're working in, the better, because then you can really, really shine. If it appears in the property palace, then property is not just actual physical assets as investment opportunities, but it also represents the family overall, like your home. So if you have the Taiyang star in the property palace, it tends to indicate that the males in the family have a much, much stronger presence and a much, much stronger influence on family activities, the direction and the dynamics of the family. Again, doesn't have to be a bad thing at all, but this is just more, everybody just tends to lean on the males in the family whenever they need anything, whenever any decision needs to be taken. So this is usually what that indicates. Now, if you have the Taiyang star in the mental palace, you tend to be quite energetic, always busy, little bit restless. Yeah, like the sun, it like comes and goes every day for centuries. Yeah, it just doesn't stop. So very energetic, and you always have something to do. You have like several hobbies, and you're always engaged. So someone who doesn't like to do nothing, generally speaking. Yeah. And then lastly, if you have it in the parents' palace, you tend to have a father who's very kind, very generous, kind-hearted person. Yeah. Your father is someone, even though he may be dominant, because it's a father figure, but it's a very kindly father figure. Yeah. Very warm personality. All right. So these are the two stars that we're looking at today, Ziwei and Taiyang. In the next installment, we're going to look at two more stars, and you can see where you find them in your chart. Now, of course, they can all appear together in the same palace. So you can have Ziwei and Taiyang in the same palace. That is definitely possible. Like you can see here, we've got Ziwei with Tanlang and Yobi. So stars can appear together, and then you just have to you have to interpret the meaning with all of those characteristics together. All right. So I hope this helped you a little bit to understand your Ziwei natal chart. And I will see you for the next installment. If you have any questions, any comments, you can always put them in the comment section below. And in the meantime, please give this video a big thumbs up, share it with anybody who may be interested, and please subscribe to my channel so we can grow this community. All right, take care, you guys. See you soon.